Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in the country of Colombia, and I've lived in 114 countries, and I've been doing that for 26 plus years. Okay, today I'm going to talk about how to remember how to remember. Okay, it's kind of a funny, in a way, topic, but I'm going to talk about, we have to learn to remember and use things. We have to try to remember and learn to things. But the way we do this, which is kind of interesting, is we prioritize. And if you have something made a priority and somehow it becomes a need or a want, okay, see, there's a level where something is needed, okay? And when it becomes a need, like an emotional need, as opposed to just a want, then it's easier to do, okay? And it's easier to remember. But we can go through our whole life just randomly living our lives, which is actually a pretty good way to live your life. And I definitely don't try to use willpower on anything. I try to make it so easy to do that it's impossible not to do. I'll never forget, I was in Midland, Michigan, laying on this couch, drunk out of my frickin' brain, and one of these, all night, 24-hour business channels was on, and I heard the guy say, the job of life is not to manage life, it's not to manage people, it's to remove the obstacles to production. And I'll never forget that, because that was, to me, the most insightful business advice you could ever get. You don't want to manage people. What you want to do is remove the obstacles that makes it that's causing them problems to do what they want. And I do the same thing. So I have to manage myself. I was just watching this Dr. Amen or something. I forget what his name is. He's a psychiatrist. And he said, you need to sometimes just name your brain. And I'm going to start calling my brain gadget brain. My gadget brain. Can you hear that church? They are really loud bells here in this church. Kind of amazing. But learn to remember and use. Let's see, what time is it? 6:48. What they do is they remind you. They have a town crier situation here where 15 minutes before the hour, so 15 minutes before 7 a.m., they are ringing the bell. Then they'll ring it again at 7. So I suppose that's the call to church, 15 minutes. So you're supposed to get out of bed and whatever. And just think how this worked before we had these clocks, right? I always think about the town criers. The town criers now inside the United States is those flashing boards. In Kendallville, Indiana, they got one of these flashing boards in front of the library that tells you what to do. The trouble is that it flashes so fast I can't read it. I have to go park my car in front of it and go, okay, I want a notification of what's going on, but I wish they would go slower. Okay, if you're going to flash things, give us at least a 5-second read, right? But people get angry because if they don't want to read it, then they get angry. But learn to remember and use something. This is a quote by Albert Einstein. Paper is to write things down that we need to remember. Our brains are used to think. Albert Einstein. What that says is a piece of paper never forgets. So I always have paper on me. I have this, I should show it to you. I have this really cool new pen I found. Took me buying $10 worth of pens that didn't work to finally, on the second time around, I bought a pen that really does work. Okay, and I want to always have a pen with me, so I bought this special little pen that you turn it, and it's a ballpoint pen. It's a little bit tiresome because there's let's see, what is it? Oh, there's an eraser here, but it can come unscrewed. The other one just didn't work at all. It was one of them extremely fine point ones. But so I always have a pen with me, and I put the key to my room. I don't have a big pile of keys because to me a big pile of keys needs to be put in a different place. If you have too many keys, that means you have too many things to maintain. Okay, but how to remember? So I always have that. My Google Keeps to remember things. and I have these databases. I have hundreds of databases and hundreds of Google Sheets, probably thousands of Google Sheets on different topics, and I remember things. Okay, but a paper, I have everything's in a database, and then that leads me down the string of remembering things. But paper is a way to write something down. And if I say something of extreme importance to a person, like if I was interviewing a person, I would try to give them 3 things that they're going to have to remember to do the job. So say I was interviewing a job, a person that was doing an executive job. And I said, I want you to remember these 3 things. And this is going to be the highest priority of this job. And if they didn't pull out a way to write this down, a paper to write this down, some way to do it, I wouldn't hire them, okay? Because if I'm going to say these are the 3 most important things you got to remember about this job, and they don't write them down, I know that they're not capable of trying to remember anything. But I'm going to tell you now the fun stuff. The 10 most difficult things for me to remember. Oh, can't get it to go any higher. Okay. These tripods are pretty cool, but they're a little bit scary because they can fall over. Okay, so the 10 most difficult things to remember are, they're in no special order. Well, maybe not. The last one's probably the most. Not to make appointments. One of the most ridiculous things I always remember, to wave at girls if you're a single man. That's not true. You should say hello to everybody. Always remember to say hello. That's not on the list. But not to make appointments. I don't know how many times people want me to make and schedule and put me into their life schedule. And sometimes I just go, why would I do that? Why would I make my life have an appointment on something fun to do and think? I mean, much funner to have a spontaneous situation. Now, a lot of times, most of my friends that are trying to put me into their scheduled appointment or pencil me in or do anything like that, if I just call them and say, hey, I'm going to be in Fort Wayne tomorrow, here in 2 hours, can we get together? Guess what? They get together. Much better way to do it. I need to remember my sisters, my family, my friends' birthdays. And I don't ever tell anybody that it's my sister's birthday, my friend's birthdays. I don't want anybody to ever talk about their birthday in public. When you get reminders from the Red Cross, Agoda, Expedia, any company, Uber, that it's your birthday, they are damaging your credibility. So they're not doing you a favor by talking about people's birthdays. But it is very important that you make it a priority that the people that you're grateful to be your friends. So these things I'm always trying to make into a thing. And I've never been able to create a system yet where it works, because what happens is these systems don't move through they're too onerous, okay? And really, the only way to do it is to have just a list of like 10 people. And you try to make a list of all your friends, then it just becomes so onerous you don't do it. Number 3, not to acquire things. Now, most of you, I can tell you that if you go into your garage and you don't have a place for your car, if you have a used storage place, you're a hoarder. Okay. If you have an attic completely full of crap, you're a hoarder. Don't get me wrong, like my Mom Graham had a upstairs just absolutely packed with crap, okay? But it was, say, 80 years of acquisition, okay? But she didn't have a used storage place, and she didn't have the garage full. But at the point of this is that the way I do this is not acquire things, is I throw things away. If I don't use it within, like right now, I only have, one of the greatest benefits of me being a world traveler is I only have a backpack full of stuff. That means I can only carry so much, and I can only acquire so many things. So everything that is in my backpack, my 40-liter, almost 60-liter backpack now, I carry about, 40 on the back, 20 on 60 60 pounds worth of stuff. Not to acquire things, but acquiring things. There's kind of a temporary acquiring things is like buying a broom when I'm in a hotel for 2 months. The second thing, the number 4, is to not hold on to things that I don't use. This is why you become a hoarder, is you have something upstairs that you haven't touched in 20 years, and you keep it as if that has some sort of value. I told one of my friends the other day, she was going over to a house to help them clean the garage, and I said, you can get a dumpster. And I truly recommend that people get a dumpster, and they just go through as they get older and just continually clean up their life of things. And I want you to be rich enough to throw away stuff. I am extremely wealthy because I will throw away stuff. I don't have any use for it. I ditch it. My mom got really upset one time. She kept complaining about this extra 2 or 3 boxes upstairs in her attic, which she couldn't even walk up the stairs. So I just took them all downstairs, and I got a burn barrel, like a 55-gallon barrel, and I burned it all. She goes, "You burned your leather." I burned my leather briefcase, right, that I had for business. I said, I'm never going to use it again. And if I want to, I can always buy these things again. So anything that you can buy again, you can burn. If you haven't touched it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I don't know why you're saving it. There are things of memory that I do it. Like I was one of the top 2 people on this National Investment Challenge, and I keep this thing, and I was laughing because it sort of got some water on it somehow in the ink thing, and I was really kind of upset because it showed that I was in the top 2 in the state of Indiana and the top 25 of the nation on my investment strategy. Okay, not to acquire things. Number 5, hola, to do 3 proactive things every day. And this is where the difference between having a fruitful life and having a life where you just do what you need. I'm always going to do what I need to do. I mean, they always come into your brain, and you're highly motivated, and you do the needed things. The proactive things, like being grateful or being, like today on my list, I have go buy some probiotics, and there's another one. Go buy some iodine. Both 2 things I don't have to have. I don't need these things. They're just there to make my life better. But I will make a list of 3 things proactive. So my to-do list is really about the things that are proactive as opposed to what I need. But I'm lucky if I can do 3 things in a day. Why? Because I don't drive myself crazy making myself feel guilty. I'll do 50 things in a day, but I will only make myself feel guilty about the 3 needed things, or the 3 ones. Number 6, to ping 5 or 6 of my friends every day. What that means is I'm waving at everybody as they walk by. What that means is to ping means like to send out a message. Like I can send a little. Like I'm always forwarding good investment ideas to people. I do this to 3 or 4 people all the time. I try to give them something funny or whatever, something beneficial, something that I think. Like I have one friend that was a big fisherman, so I always would tell him when there's a new fishing. I would send him an article if there was a new giant fish caught, right? But you got to understand what a person cares about and what his interest, and you got to send them. I just wrote Giorgio in Russia and asked him how his life was going on and whatever. And we had a discussion. Number 7, hardest thing to remember is my targeted list of exercises. So I think I finally got this down. What I do is I made a video on my biohacking channel, but I made two sheets of paper that have pictures of my exercise, and I post them on the wall. And I actually, everywhere I go, I have copies of like 8 different things I'm supposed to remember. And I just take some masking tape and I post them on all the walls wherever I'm at. And I got these reminders. So I'm laying in bed and I look at them and I go, oh yeah, I need to do that. I got things I need to remember to do in the shower. I got things to do I need to remember to do in the bed while I'm sleeping, because I do a lot of exercises while I'm in bed watching movies. Number 8. This is the number one priority of my life. This is what I always remember to do every single day. I spend my whole day trying to be predatory. I go looking and walking around trying to find places where I can sit and make friends. That's my number one priority in my life. It's the conversations that I create that make me who I am. Number 9, fibers and vegetables. And I have trouble with this one. I really, right now, it's really easy here because there's a couple markets down here where there's a lot of people, a lot of fun people, some nice girls and whatever, and I can go down there and I can talk and I can buy just exactly what I need. It's not much fun when I go into Kroger's because I don't get to talk to anybody and I have to buy twice as much as what I need. Open air markets, I love these things because I can buy just a handful of grapes. I can buy just a small amount of perejil, parsley. I can buy just what I need to eat, and fresh markets are wonderful that way when you can buy it used to be I could go into Kroger and buy nuts in bulk. I really like bulk things, and I really think they should have supermarkets where we have one portion meals. I don't need this economy size, get fat fast with the sad American diet, standard American diet. Okay, number 10. The thing I always try to do is listen to about an hour of media research every day. That means I watch different videos that are educational, but I don't watch them unless I like what I'm watching. So I'm always laughing because Huberman, which is his health guy, he wears black. He's got black backgrounds, and I think it's depressing. So I won't watch him because he's incredibly smart. But I'm not going to insert drudgery into my world. I want somebody that's happy, that's healthy, and whatever. Thomas DeLauer's starting to put on all these. He's losing my thing because he has too many commercials. He has long commercials, and he puts them in there. And I go, I think like a 20-second commercial is better, or give me a way to support you, like $5 a month or something. This idea of giving me commercials and telling me blah blah blah, I don't like it. I don't like that I have commercials on YouTube, but YouTube will not promote my channel unless I allow commercials because they want to make money, right? And I don't blame them. Here's a bonus. My bonus thing I have to always remember is that dumb people, poor people, beggars, everybody has a right to exist. Everybody has a right, and I don't have the right to try to harm them in any way. So if a person is being stupid, I don't have the right to tell them to not be stupid. I make videos where I talk about stupid people, yeah. But I'm not sitting there in public or whatever where I'm walking around. If somebody does something radically stupid, I very seldom do anything about it. I may get some body language, like I look at them like you're really a fucking idiot, but I don't give them any kind of. I don't try to change people. And I think the number one reason why people are angry is because they want to change. They spend their whole time thinking about how to change people. I can change my pants, I can change my shoes, I can't change people. People are unchangeable. It's just changed by accident. Okay, but there's 4 types of learning as a philosopher that people need to, in a way, I try to break down my life into 4 categories. 25% of my life is new experiences, so I'm always having new experiences. 25% of my life is new friends. I'm always constantly trying to have new friends. That's why I spend all my day walking around trying to remember to be in places where I can meet people. 25% of my time should be the ping people, right? I ping people, write them, try to open up, talk to people that I trust. Some people, I do have some friends that are kind of weird because I don't really trust them but they, as long as we keep it on a more superficial level, they can be very smart. Okay, but if you ask me whether I should trust them to come pick me up at the airport, no. Bottom line is the person that if you really, there's like three things that you trust somebody is if they'll you trust them to pick you up at the airport. If you're married to a wife or husband and you don't trust them to pick you up at the airport, there's a problem. Okay, but my old friends. And then I spend 25% of my time learning from media. Media means newspapers, television, whatever. But new experiences is what I really relish the most, and I really have an overabundance of new experiences. Okay, so back again, the four things. 25% of my life is new experiences, 25% of my life is new friends, 25% of my life is old friends, regular friends, philosopher friends that believe in the truth, and 25% of my life is in learning. I'm here and you're not, why not? And I remember to enjoy myself. And I remember that when I'm making these videos, never to think about whether anybody's watching them or cares about watching or whatever. Or if I care about what you think, you are my boss. I'm a slave. Lao Tzu with SLO or Tzu said this. Anybody that you care about their opinion is your master. You're a slave to them. I'm not a slave to anyone, and I'm definitely not going to be a slave to making YouTube videos. But I do enjoy doing it because it's kind of I remember always that the reason why I'm making YouTube videos is not for my viewers. The reason why I'm making YouTube videos is like journalizing or writing a book is to make myself a better person. I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've lived in 114 countries, and I live the world's greatest life. I'm very grateful to the good gods. I'm grateful to my friends and family and everybody that supports me. And if you really ever want to just talk to me, become a Patreon. There's a link in the description. And help me get some money. I'm really looking right now. One of my things I'm trying to remember, I got to remember to tell people, I really need some people that are in Israel. Today is, I don't know, October 28th or something like that, and I need Sunday, and I'm going to go to Israel December 10th, más o menos, more or less, of 2024, and I would really like to know some people that I could stay with there for free for a week, where I could get a family immersion system where I could do it. I would like to stay there 2 or 3 months, and I'd like to really understand how the people are thinking that in the family situation. See, what happens is people will tell you what you think you need to hear, and what you need to hear is what they don't tell you, but what they do. Basically, how they live and these idle comments are much more important than like you interview somebody and they tell you everything they think you need to hear instead of what they really believe. So the living in an immersion situation is actual life as it is, and then that's where you really discover like the subliminal thoughts of people. Okay, so living with people is now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna keep these guys completely anonymous, as you know, unless they have a really big desire to not be anonymous. And anybody that's a Patreon for $100, I will come and see eventually. I have different levels of Patreon. $5, you can come to the Zoom meetings. Anybody $5 or more can come to the Zoom meetings every Sunday night. So Sunday night tonight, I'm having a Zoom at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to I think I'm locked into this. I feel very confident that I can do this everything. But if you get on the chat part of the Patreon thing, you can do it. The free people don't get to do this, and I will allow people to play games a little bit. But I'm here and you're not. Why not? Life is good. La vida bella. La vida es buena. I'm probably saying that wrong. But we can accomplish anything in life if we just remember to always keep our priorities in line and somehow give ourselves this tools of tickler systems. Tickle, tickle, tickle. tickle to remember things. So I got things hanging up on my walls, and I buy masking tape, and I paste them up there. So how to remember to exercise? You do it every day and make it a habit. Anybody that goes to the gym 3 times a week really normally doesn't do it for the rest of their life. The people that go every day, they remember their priorities. I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon. Get on the GoFundMe page to help me go to Israel. I want some people in Israel to go stay with, because I really want that family immersion thing.